Good evening. Welcome, guys. And I just saw a comment that said, dang, it's crowded in here. It is. So we got Ken here, Howard's here, I'm here, Andrew. Hey, Andrew. James is here, and he said, little refuge from the chaos. Let's all just pretend the world makes sense for a while. I agree. Absolutely. Our little pocket of peace where we can all pretend everything is just fine and dandy. Howard said, oh, heck, I better go. Can't pretend. Yes, you can. And James said to start the music, basically. And he said, asked Howard, what are you talking about? You pretend when you build models. That's absolutely true. Ken's looking for free samples of summer sausage. Unfortunately, I don't have any. He said it isn't Costco. And Keith said, dang, it's crowded in here tonight. And apparently, Andrew was at Costco just a little bit ago. Hey, watch it, pal. How about some elbow room? Howard says he's been pretending all 52 years, going on 53. And Keith said, howdy, y'all. And that catches us up on chat. And to respond to yours, Howard, your comment there, Howard, I'm at version 6.0, working on, or at version, almost to version 6.0, working on version 6.1. And James said if he'd known that Andrew was going to be at Costco, he'd asked him for some tuna steaks. Oh, he said the same thing twice. That confused me for a second there. Okay, so we're back on, of course, that's the live stream. We're back on the cable car. And I noticed today, or when I sanded the corners, they did come out really nice. I haven't painted yet to see how they really are going to come out. But I realized that I missed one corner, so I did that today. And because I put that putty into this semi-watertight container, the putty is still viable. So that's kind of cool. And I like that putty. I really do, because it sanded out beautifully. I really like the way that looks. I think it's going to just about make it's going to just about disappear under paint. So my thought was tonight, because the next thing it says to do is to paint the edges here. Not quite ready for that. Got to sand that one spot. Do the bell pulls. I'm not going to fight with that tonight. That's up inside. Already built these. Have not yet painted them. But what I am going to do is bring over the rest of the parts for the underbody. And we're going to build this up. Once I get the wheels built, I'm not going to paint them right now. I'm going to take the actual wheels off, paint them later. But once I get these built up, I'm going to attach them, and then I'm going to run the wires and just make sure that somewhere roughly in the center is where I'll be able to drop power out, because I don't know if everybody's been watching all along, but it will soon be time to start working on this base. So I figure between the rails, about midpoint is where I'm going to run the power up underneath, or up from underneath the board. There should be enough room in there to run wires over to it and run a plug into the side of the base. So James said, sorry. Ken said, yeah, Ken, is that a specimen container? Yes, it is. You can buy these on Amazon. It was like $5 for 50 of these, which is nice, because then you just throw them away. I use them for a lot of things. My wife looked for them saw them this summer, and she wanted to get some for her for the seeds for the garden. I'm like, that sounds like a good idea, and we'll order a second batch because I can use them as well. And no, that is not rum and coke in that glass. It is bourbon and coke. I'm a bourbon drinker, although I do have rum. So, yummy. So a couple of weeks ago, we built these. Have not yet painted either of them. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to use the, is that it? Yeah, I'm going to use the brush primer. Hey, Kenneth, welcome. And Kenneth said, that's amazing, Uncle Buckman. Glad he's sitting there watching his favorite YouTube person while on his 30-minute lunch break. I'm not going to argue with you. I am your favorite YouTube person at this moment. Unlike the other guys that they're like, yeah, we've heard you on other channels. That's fine. But I've got this brush on primer, and the primer is mainly to go on the metal parts. And nobody's said anything. Nobody's commented about the fact that I brush paint everything with these paints. It's kind of interesting because Penny is building the little London bus, the what was it? The dentist bus that I built a while back. I will, Ken, once I get off. If I don't, remind me to find them and put them in Discord links. But Penny built the AEC dentist bus that I built a while back. She was using the OcCre paints and having no end of problems with them because she was thinning them down and painting them with an airbrush or using them with an airbrush. They are airbrushable, but they're better. They're more designed to specifically use a brush with them. And she discovered that when she started using a brush with them instead. Hey, Gordon, welcome. So let's see. I have all the parts out, and this has been repaired. I don't know if everybody remembers that I built this upside down. I had put the discs here were on the inside. So next thing, there's that drawer. This drawer is actually from the first workbench I ever had. Really, really tiny little thing. Might need that. But I threw the stuff in here because it makes sense, really quick and easy spot to keep the stuff. Right now, I've got one drawer taken by this, one drawer is taken by wood scrap, and one drawer is taken by the decals for the Millennium Falcon, which we will be working on tomorrow in the group stream. Let me get all these parts out. There are quite a few that make up these wheels. And I'm not sure if I will get to the wiring tonight, because once I get these built, I've got to build these and then attach them and then do the wiring. One thing you'll see is that there are on these support pieces for the smaller axle, or for the axles. Where is it? There it is. Okay, these pieces here are going to go into these slots. And past these pieces, go ahead and take these off of there. So they're going to go past these into these pieces. It's going to basically go right through it. And they'll stick down into this will stick down into this piece here. Just looking at chat, everybody's saying hello to everybody, just making sure I don't miss anything. Yeah. So like I was saying, these are going to stick down through here into these pieces here. I'll see if I can actually set one in there without gluing and attaching and everything else. Once these are built, Let's try it this way. We'll put this one in first. Pull it back up enough to where I can get this other one in. But once these are built, they'll be on there like that. And you see those two holes. These don't get glued on. These are going to get screws put on into them. And the reason it has such a large turntable section is you can see that those stick right through the other side. Oh, no, they won't. Never mind. I forgot the bracing. The bracing part is not on there. There's this little piece here, which is a reinforcement to keep it from overstressing, I guess. I don't know if you guys have noticed, there is no script for this. I just kind of go on the fly, and sometimes I'm like, what did I want to say? But that's the fun of this. Set the wheels over here, set these parts over here. And I was actually talking with Keith a little bit today on Discord. He asked about these spots here. And there will be, I need to do a little bit of fill there. But he was asking about these spots where he thought it looked like it was a joint here. But there looked like there was a joint here, but actually that is where a pole is going to go up between here and the ceiling for the grab bars for people to get on and off the cable car. I appreciate that. Todd said stopping in to say hello to everyone and drop a like. I really appreciate that, Todd. With that, I'm going to also say like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate it. It helps the channel out. It helps the it helps me get, how do I want to put it? It helps bring the channel up to the top on other places in YouTube, on people's watch list. You know, just helps the channel a little bit. I'm very close to 1,000 subs. I'm at 971 as of this evening, which is really, really cool. Ian and I have a little bit of a bet. I said it's probably going to be about April. He said probably by the end of February I will hit 1,000. I think he's closer to right than I am. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these, or we're going to take one of these, two of these, and two of these. We'll set the rest of these off to the side. That is one full assembly. And you got parts 65s, 265s, 264s, and 163. I'm going to turn everything so that these numbers that I wrote on them back when I first started this, won't really matter, but I'm going to try and put them towards the inside where they won't be visible. I just felt this and realized I cut all this stuff out, but I never did the sanding. So I got to sand them as I go. And it's not sanding a bunch off, just enough to where the, whoops, need a smaller stick. Oh, thank you very much, Ken. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm not sure if everybody should have seen that. That is very cool. Thank you very much, Ken. Oh, I started. I didn't show it. Let me see. I have YouTube up at the same time. There. I gave it a like as well. You can afford that after the tariffs. Or can he afford that after the tariffs? I will have a tasty beverage on you, Ken. Okay, so let me make sure. Oh, that's what I was doing. Was getting the small parts in there. I have too many sanding sticks, just like too many clamps. That is true. What tariffs? What tariffs? Because they were all paused for 30 days. And that's all we're going to talk about that. It's a no politics zone. We're all friends here. And if we're not friends, we shouldn't be here. Okay, so where's the glue? I've got so much on the table here. There it is. The wood glue was like this. Right behind here. Couldn't see it. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of glue, a sparing amount, across here. Put that through there, on there. And what I'm going to do to make sure it is lined up and straight is I'm going to take one of these screws, and I will show you there are two sizes of screws in this kit. There's a long one and a short one. So the short one goes into these pieces. Hang on. Yeah, the short one goes through these pieces to hold the wheels to the undercarriage. The long one is what goes into the base of the train or cable car. Way to make an inappropriate comment, Dash. It's all good. Is that why Ian doesn't come to watch? I don't know. Well, I think Ian might not come to watch because Ian is not into wood at all. Although he does watch my other stuff. He did leave a comment earlier, a little while ago, on the Robocop from last night. The one I posted last night. Actually, that's going to work really well. This is my favorite screwdriver, by the way. Exactly. Leave politics at the door. So this is going to work really well because what I can do is it's actually threading itself into the wood here. And I'm going to just take it down far enough to where the screw head is just barely there. That way it will be lined up, and I can take this piece here, or this, I can put the glue in here. And then we're going to put this piece on here like this. I think Andrea has forgotten I'm streaming. But we're going to put a little, whoa, that's way too much glue. It's always good to put too much glue on there. But we're going to put a little bit of glue on here. And then we're going to put it on here, push it on here like this. Get rid of the excess as much as possible. Grab a Q-tip and set that like that. Let that sit here for a minute and think of what it's done, Howard. No. So let me catch up on chat. Leave politics at the door. Absolutely, James. Never appropriate or politically correct. He offends everyone. That's what Howard says. He doesn't really offend me. And truthfully, he doesn't mean to offend. He just is really good at it. James said, no politics, just passion for wood models. Absolutely. I love wood models. Ken said, well, Howard, if you showered more, and Howard responded back, I showered last night. I have pics to prove it. Do not post those pics, Howard. We don't want to know. Okay, Andrea asked me to put a skillet into the dishwasher and turn it on. So I'm just going to send her a quick note back. Like I said, I think she forgot. That's okay. And knowing Howard, since I just told him not to post a pic from his shower last night, he's going to find a pic. He's going to find a pic to post on Discord that will be completely inappropriate and something I would probably post. And he said, what, you don't want to see my wet wood? It gets bent. Oh, that's just wrong, Howard. So wrong. But that's okay. We know how you are. And actually, most of us in HTM are in our 40s and 50s going on 12. James said, tell her to get off my back. Ken said, so sultry music and candlelight to turn it on, Buck. Oh, to turn on the dishwasher? Probably. I've never really thought about it. And I won't tell her to get off my back because that lady does my finances. I'm a budget analyst by day, by night. I let her do all of that stuff. Come on. See if I can do this. Maybe. That's not good. And I know some of you have been around long enough that you wait for me to drop something on the floor and disappear for a couple of minutes. Listen while I'm mumbling to myself under there while I'm trying to find 42 windows from the Enterprise D. That was an interesting night, and I no longer have that kit. I did not finish it when Fan Home took it over. I was already upset and disgusted with that kit by that point. Come on. This screw just does not want to play nice. I just heard something post on Discord. That was probably Dash posting an inappropriate picture of himself in the shower last night. That happens. Okay, so that lined up there. You know what? They actually say to put the wheels on and the whole 9 yards on here before it goes on here. But I think this can go in here right now. That way it just holds it together. Oh, I know. I see why. That's why they want you to do that first. Because it's a little bit difficult to do that once it's in there. So let me just set that there for right now. Set of the wheels over. And what they want you to do when you do this, the wheels are supposed to be, well, first off, they're not supposed to be like that. The groove, I guess you could call it. Hang on a second. Let me turn off that heater. It's getting warm in here. The heaters were off for a couple hours and it was down to about, well, it's only 68 in here now, but it's getting warm. But the wheels are supposed to be the spot right here, the high point, the edge of it, is supposed to be 45 millimeters apart, and that will make it line up on the base. So just for giggles, here's what I'm going to do. I'm thinking as I go, as I always do. So the way this goes together, this goes through here like this. These little spacers here go in here like this. Once you get the distance measured for where they're supposed to go, how wide it's supposed to go. Let's see. Let me double check. Insert without gluing, rings in the fit holes that support. Slide the rings up to support and glue them to the axle. Make sure the wheels can turn freely. And it says the distance between the exterior parts of the lips on the wheels must be 45 millimeters. So what you're supposed to do is get this and glue the wheels to the end of the axle. Okay. So what you're supposed to do is get this all set up like this first, glue this together, glue the wheels to the ends, and then glue these spacers in place. Let me see. I'm going to set this on here. Maybe if I can find those holes. There's one. There's the other. These are loose. These wheels get interesting. What I want to measure is to see if we're at 45 meters or 40. Yeah, if we're 45 meters between these wheels. I don't think we are quite, but probably 45 millimeters. That is going to be very interesting to get that done. There's very close. I'll glue that later after it's had time to dry like that. It is very close. It's about 47 millimeters right now. I'll play with it a little bit and get that straight. Hey, Don, welcome. Got the first wheel kind of set up. Matter of fact, this should be good enough to hold everything in place. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this down in place. It's over there. Absolutely. Everything is over there. And if it's not, it's somewhere else. So we're going to tighten this one down. We're going to tighten this one down. These, and the way these are built, it is so close. You know what? Let me try this. It is so close that if they were just a little bit more precise, the wheels would not have to be glued in. They're so close to being perfect in where they need to be. I've thought about that before, making the axle dowels a little bit longer just for that purpose. We'll set this one here. And let's see. Ken said it's over there. James said 47 centimeters, or is that millimeters? And you'll massage it for a while until it's straight. What the hell am I watching? Hey, there you go. You never know what's going to happen on any channel associated with HTM. Okay, so that one is good enough, or is lost my train of thought there because right now, if I had thrown myself at the ground, I could fly. Throw yourself at the ground and miss. Anybody who's read or watched Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I couldn't find this cap, and I'm like, where the hell did it go? Found it. So we'll get set up for this next one. Get these pieces. Oops, only two. Oh, and the way these are shaped, the rounded portion here, the wheel, when it goes through, this goes to the outside. So this one, the rounded portion is sticking over this way. This one will go on this way on the next one. Wouldn't take re-aiming the camera and everything else. I would zoom in a little bit, but the camera, if I zoom in, the camera zooms in up to here. I just looked over and I'm sitting a little bit off towards with the desk, and so I'm tending to go over to the right. I tend to do that a lot. So let's get these little bits sanded, and then I'll read James's comment. Oops. One on here and one on here. So James said, hey, I have a video I'm working on right now, and it's about a Stuart tank that was named Pain in the Ass. If I used that for my video title on YouTube, do you think it would pass muster? Absolutely. At least I think it would. What you probably have to do, let's see, like this tank is a pain in the ass, or this model is a pain in the ass. What you have to do is probably use the @ sign and $2 symbols. Something like this. That would be okay, but I would use an A instead of the @ sign. Or the other way, you have people have this would make people think it's a PETA. Let that soak in for a second. I'm sure everybody understands, I hope, that PETA is pain in the ass. I'm going to get beat up by YouTube in a minute. I never said I was a family-friendly channel. Eric said that, and not the Eric who's with us now. Now that I have a part-work screwdriver, the magnetism is holding it in place a little bit better. Come on, straighten that out. There's that one. That one should line up okay. Maybe. Screw the other part on here. And I'm waiting. At some point, I'm sure I'm going to put one of these on backwards. It's what I do. Dash was thinking words more inappropriate. As you do, Dash. Mark that one because I've responded to. I should probably take that off the screen too, or I could keep it there for the next week. No need to be sorry, Dash. I understand. Right now, Andrea and I are having a very stressful time because 99.9% sure that I'm retiring a year and a or almost about 18 months sooner than I had planned. But these things happen. And as a farmer, I do not envy you at all, Howard. I do appreciate you, though, because my grandparents were farmers. So I know how much work you do because I spent a summer with my grandfather, or at my grandparents after Grandpa broke his back. And that old man wore me out when I was a 13-year-old. I almost could not keep up with him. Come on. It's kind of difficult doing this one-handed while I've got the other hand holding the rest of it. Okay, let me take a look. James said he posted a picture of a pita. Howard posted his bent wood. Oh, nice. That is very nice. And that you said that's the tank you're building right now? Looking forward to seeing shots of it once it's done. So let's get these set on here. I might actually be able to, no, I'm not going to be able to. I was going to say I might be able to glue these on, the wheels on, with this, without taking it back off, but it's not going to work because of the way this is set up. The distance is almost enough, but not quite enough to let me put the wheels in there. Tighten that one down. That one, that didn't work. Let's try this again. Oh, okay. So Howard said, me a farmer, I'm going to have to find a job off the farm doing something. And since Walmart isn't around here, I can't be a greeter. Welcome to Walmart. Go and get your chit and get out. James said he already posted pics of the model in the military section, just editing. Oh, okay. I will have to take a look at it later. The problem that I just had was I put the screws down into, or not into the wood. They didn't quite go into the wood. What they did was they pushed the part up, and that ended up with this coming off. This is where things go south because I'm trying to do too many things at one time. If I was not on a stream like this, everything would go together like it was meant to. I know this because I've done this before. There's always Menards. There is that. Ken is right, Howard. So let's try this again and see if we can keep it together this time, not have it fall apart. Okay, that one is down. That one is not. Come on. One goes down, the other comes up. That's great. And I know that come on. This is a self-tapping screw, so tap yourself. There, that one's started now. As is that one. I was waiting for somebody to say, hey, you forgot the wheels. I know I forgot the wheels. Oh, this is very dangerous. This is very dangerous. I'm leaving the wheels off until later. Because what's going to happen, it's just tight enough in there that if I try to continue with that, I'm going to end up snapping that off. I do not want to do that. What I mean by snapping that off is I'm going to end up snapping one of these sides off. That's still not all the way down. See, the other end is doing the same thing. It's up in the air. Come on. Get down in there, you little piece of wood. Okay. Sorry, I'm almost off camera. On the very edge. That's why once I get the work stuff out of here, I will be redesigning the shop a little bit, figuring out how I can do better, get more of the bench in. So Donnie just showed up. Hey, Donnie. Maybe it has a lift kit under it. Could be. Or not. I don't think so, Donnie. Still up on one side here. Let me see if I can show that on camera. Right there, you can see the gap underneath there. That's why you're supposed to put this down first and then put the screws in. But I'm really good at doing things the hard way. So something on these wheels that is really a little bit irritating. And I understand they're not going to make them exactly perfect, but it needs, that leaves a little bit to be desired. The wheels do not, are the holes in the wheels are too large actually for the dowels. So Howard asked if I factored in a victory to that analysis to letting me retire 18 months early. I have, and the factor says that I would prefer to retire and model full time and still get the victory probably 2 years from now. Because part works are starting to fall off. I should have the last of the Moomin by next month. And then once the Moomin falls off, there's $100 I don't spend anymore, and so on and so forth. So that by the end of, by January of next year, all the part works that I'm paying for should be gone. Not that I won't have any, because I do have the Constitution coming from Agora. I am looking forward to that. But I'm also, to be honest, I am fed up with work. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it no more. I have been in the, let's see. Yeah, I've been in the workforce considering I first started my first real job, which means not a paper route. I had a paper route when I was like 10, but I started my first real job paying taxes in the whole 9 yards 47 years ago. I am ready. And by the time I retire, September timeframe, I will have been in the market for 48 years. Yep, I know you do, Don. It's flat out time. And nobody reminded me. I forgot to sand the little nubs off that nobody is ever going to see. Let me see. Don said, as you do, and he said, as that he knows the feeling. And Howard said, if they're doing the orca from Jaws, I probably wouldn't do that one. I'm just not like Wayne and Phil with Jaws crazy. I would love to do the orca. Be a really cool boat to do. But it's one of them things. I'm not going to pay for it. Don kids who are 20 already and tired of work. Yeah, there are kids these days that are tired of work and they just want to be on their phone. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is so much the truth. And Keith is going to drop off because if I remember right, his normal thing is 4 o'clock in the morning comes very early. It does indeed. Have a great evening, Keith. We will see you next time around. I jokingly told Andrea before I came down here that after I retire, I'm going to do a stream at 3 o'clock in the morning just to see if anybody shows up. I'm willing to bet that Howard would show up. He'd be like hanging out, go. What's Buck doing? He's on right now. Let's see what he's doing. But also speaking of retiring, Howard said, "Damn, get out of my head." James said he's usually up about that time, taking a piss and going back to bed. That's not 3 o'clock for me. It's usually about 4:30, and I look at the clock. I'm like, really? The alarm's going to go off in an hour and a half, and I'm not going to sleep again because of this. Don said it wouldn't be this guy, and Todd would be there. Yes, if Todd and Howard would show up and be like, "What are you doing?" And I only know that Howard is up at times like that because he posts on Discord in the middle of the night. Donnie might be up, getting up to go to work. Okay. I've decided I'm not going to use the screws because that's what's making this one not play very nice. But what I can do instead of using the screws is I can just set this in place. Hopefully it'll push in there. A smart person would have, because they're same distance apart, would have set them on the top instead. I'm going to do that where I can actually get to everything. Yeah, see, put it on the other side, it just falls in place. I'm sorry. I will stop using that 4-letter word. I will, because I won't be doing it anymore either. Howard said if he had a woman, he probably wouldn't be up in the middle of the night unless there's something else. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I will tell you one thing, Howard. With as a farmer, with as little money as you have more money now than you will ever have if you get married, girlfriend, what have you. The richest I ever was as a airman first class before I met Andrea and we had kids. Although it is kind of funny that both of us look back and we've both agreed and we've told the kids this, that if we had it to do over, we would have dogs instead of kids. I don't know. Maybe that's cruel and unusual to say to your grown children. I thought this one had fallen into place, but it did not. Come on. There we go. That's a little bit better. Donnie said 4 a.m. is too early. That's why he gets up at 4:30. And Howard asked if Don's retired yet. I thought you were as well, Don. And Dash said that he knows, but he would be happier. True, but there are times. Yep. Very cool, Don. And here's the interesting thing. Somebody I know that retired from my office, he was just over 62. He was planning on working till 65, but it was one of these things of, and it's a beautiful story. What happened with him is he was out in his carport garage, whatever. He was out in his shop working on a golf cart, and somebody came up to him, somebody that had either done some work on his house or something like that. But the guy came up to him and said, "What'll it take to get you out of this house?" Meaning, he wanted to buy the house out from under out from under him, and he gave him an answer. I have no idea what it was, and the guy said, "Done." So he retired because suddenly he didn't need the job, wasn't going to have the house or anything else, and so he moved on. And I reached out to him, let him know that I'm retiring, and he told me that he's not very good at it yet. It's been a year and a half or so since he retired. Oh no, he retired in December of. It's been 2 years since he retired. Not. Let me think. Yeah, it should have been 2 years since he retired. And he said that I'll be better at it than he is because he still hasn't figured out what he's going to do to keep himself occupied while I've got all these models. Well, there you go, as you do. James said never had kids, never got married, not until he was 59, and she's 20 years younger than he is. Well, stop aging and she'll catch up. Donnie keeps trying to give his son away, but nobody wants a used son. There is that. You've tried to sell him on streams, Donnie. Oh, you shouldn't be here with the shot. I don't know. You should be here with the shot. Oh, the shoot show. My dead aunt's grandkids are going at it. I should be over there videoing it for YouTube. Oh, yay. When somebody passes away and they think there's money. Especially when I spent 20 of the last 25 on the road. Actually, I fully agree with you. And since I became a GS employee, I do not travel. When I was active duty, I traveled a ton. I traveled 28 months in a row, but because of the rules at the time, and it was to different places, I didn't get a short tour, so I went to Korea. James says, I am retiring earlier than I thought, but the movie industry is kind of tanked since the strike, so I guess it's time for me too. Howard said, daughters are get easier to give away than boys. They are. Yeah, it's one of these things that I think a lot of people end up retiring a little bit sooner than they planned. I already sanded all this stuff. And it's not a bad thing. It's just making the scramble to make sure everything is going to work. You know, we are both, well, I am not as apprehensive as she is. I was really apprehensive when I retired the last time when I retired from the Air Force, and I am a flippin' idiot. Hopefully, no, don't be set. Good. I glued these on upside down. Howard said, especially when the in-laws are looking for handouts, and he said he can't retire till he's 72 if you make it that far. No, actually, Howard, being a farmer, I know, like I said earlier, I come from farm folk. My grandparents were farmers. My grandfather passed away at, I think he was 83. He wasn't working it hard, but he was still doing some work on that farm. And they didn't have a big farm. They had 32 acres. And really what they used the farm for was to feed themselves. Jet is planning to move to Thailand if that works out. Let me fix this. Oh, there's three of them there. Where is the one that I glued? There it is. Okay, let me get this back on here. Hopefully the plan to move to Thailand works out. Don said, best of luck. Ken said, asked if I'm giving away my daughters. You can have them. Your mileage may vary. One is in Wisconsin and is having another child with, I'll be nice, with her boyfriend, but which is who is her common law husband at this point, because they have been living together for like 10 or 12 years. Let me think. I've been a GS for 14. Yeah, it's been 12 years. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not very appreciative of him. Yep. Howard said mom had a friend who retired, and 2 months later he died. Some retirement. That is absolutely true. That happens to, when I was in the military, it happened to a lot of people who retired from the military because they didn't have anything else to do. The guy that I was talking about, fortunately, he has, he's not got something figured out what he's going to do yet, but he knows enough to avoid that. He had actually had a heart attack before I met him. And so when he retired, I was pretty happy for him. I'm hoping to avoid that pitfall. I think I will, because the biggest thing is when the people who die right after they retire, it's because they don't have anything to do. They don't feel, they lose their self-worth for themselves. The lady who was in my first GS job, when she was forced to retire at 80 something years old. Don't know for sure how old she was. I just know that she was really old. She actually had 30 years plus in GS service, probably 40 years. But she passed. Well, like I said, they forced her to retire. They literally escorted her out of the building, and I just put the glue on the wrong side there. They escorted her out of the building when they forced her to retire, and she was gone in 2 weeks because her job was all she had. And that is why I am very happy to leave early, because my job is not all I have. Far from it. So let me pop this on here to dry. I'm being I'm taking a chance here, guys, because if this, nope, I got to hold it for a minute because the glue hasn't set enough and it's just sliding all over the place. But if I put it on there and the glue grabs a hold, I could be stuck with it and have to try and figure out how to get it off there. But let's catch up with the chat. Ken, are you sure you want my jailed daughter? There is that. She is there. I do have a daughter that is in California incarcerated right now. Just because she's been in jail does not necessarily mean she's not a nice person. She is a nice person. Sure, she has a sensitive side. She is a nice person. She is just, she looks for the wrong people, actively looks for the wrong people. That's the only way I can put it. Uh-oh, this one's falling apart. Yep. Okay. I'm going to finish off chat and then I'll finish this one later on. James said a good movie that talks about waiting to retire is Nomadland. Never heard of it, but I'll have to look for it. Working for 65 years, then you have this huge winter bagel. You're going to travel around the world and then you just have a heart attack before you even get to do it. Absolutely. That is the worst thing. Winter bagel. I like it. Winnebago. Yeah. And that is the worst thing that can happen to somebody is they work forever. They finally retire. And when they're going to start trying to enjoy their retirement, they're gone. I like winter bagel. From now on, it will be a winter bagel. Don plans to do nothing, do what I want, when I want, not living on a schedule. Absolutely. This is what I plan on doing in my retirement. I may even take commissions. But, it's one of them things. I want to do commissions. Nobody ever asks me to, but that's okay. So, bagel is everything, but a winter bagel sounds delicious. Absolutely, it does. Well, at least he knows she won't go anywhere. There is that. My traveling is limited right now. Don said this, just don't want to. I guess 6 flights a week wore me out. With what's gone on in the past 2 weeks, I don't want to get on an airplane ever again. Second childhood, and absolutely, James, I haven't done commissions yet. If somebody ever asks me, actually, I did have somebody way back, about 12, 13 years ago. They saw what I did on one model. They said, man, can you do this model? I said, sure, absolutely. I can do the model for you. I can light it, the whole 9 yards. You buy the model. When you have the model, we'll sit down and discuss what I'll supply and how much it'll cost. But you are right. I also don't want to make what I do for enjoyment to become a job. Any travel, walking to flying is a danger. Absolutely, it is. But one of the things we're talking about is possibly renting a winter bagel. I like that. So How's my Raptor coming along? I need to get back on that thing. The photo etch in the wings kind of soured me a little bit, but I've been thinking about what I'm going to do for that, and I will be getting back on it, and we'll do a video of how I'm going to fix the holes in the wings, because my error was cutting holes in the wings instead of just sanding them off and cutting the photo etch down to just put the photo etch where it should be rather than trying to fit it down inside. But with that, guys, I am going to call it a night. I appreciate you stopping by. I'm very glad to see that people are coming to visit. I hope you're enjoying the build. This is a great build from OcCre. The lights are in it. It's about to, once these wheels are on, it is going to fly together pretty quick, I think. We're getting close. We're going to start doing more on the undercarriage, and the lights are going to go in. This thing keep coming undone. I'm going to have to glue that instead, I guess. But no, don't pee in the wind. And everybody's saying good evening. Really glad you were able to make it. And I'm going to just say, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. Like, subscribe, leave a comment if you're watching this, if you're watching the replay of this. And we will see you in the next live stream or video.